Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We are so delighted to be together welcoming in Shabbat. If this is your first time here at TRS, we're happy to see you, and we'll just make a quick PSA that our prayer books are the smaller seats, either in front of you or underneath you if you're in the front row. And if this is your 10 millionth time here at TRS, we're also very happy to see you and really glad that we can be part of welcoming in Shabbat and building community together.
One way we can get started building community together is by singing. Many of you may remember we had Alana Arian, an amazing Jewish musician and songwriter here last year. She just put out an amazing new album, and she has a really wonderful new Hine Matov, Gather Us Together. You can find the words in your program. If you don't know it, it's okay. We're going to learn it together, and I think you're going to love it.
As we welcome Shabbat and continue to build community here in this room, we'd love to invite you to turn to someone near you, maybe someone you know, maybe someone you don't know, and we'll introduce yourself to and wish them a Shabbat Shalom. So we are also delighted tonight to be celebrating with the families of two wonderful students who will become B'nai Mitzvah tomorrow. They are also the last B'nai Mitzvah of our spring season this year, and we're delighted that they are going to be leading our community in prayer and in Torah tomorrow. So to help us welcome in Shabbat, it's an honor to invite up to the Bima their moms, to invite up Natasha and Susie to help us light the Shabbat candles. And if you'd like to follow along with the candle blessing, it's on page 2.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, and all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We turn to page 12 and we welcome Shabbat with the Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat, Psalms of Joy.
Let us come into God's presence with praise. Let us raise a shout for God in song.
Page 16.
Samrud Adonai, Samrud Adonai b'chinor. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Sabru Adonai b'chinor, b'chinor v'kol zimra. B'chatzot rot v'kol shofar. Hariv lifnei hamelech Adonai. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai
turn now to page 20 for Lecha Dodi. We'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and when we come to verse 9, I'll invite you to rise as you're comfortable as we turn to face the doors and stand as we greet the Shabbat spirit, the presence of Shabbat, and we'll stay standing all the way through the next prayer, the Baruch Hu. Page 20, Lecha Dodi.
Shamor v'zachor v'dibur
Hebrew on the top of page 30. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv arabim, v'chochma poteach she'arim, ubitmuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem, barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Umevilayla, umabdil ben yom uben layla, Adonai tzavaot shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Let's read in English on page 32. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai, our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel.
כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נהגי יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Won't you please be seated? We're chanting Ve'ahavta on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאורות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Let's continue singing together our song of freedom, the song the Israelites sang as they crossed the sea, Mi Chamocha. We're on page 40.
Malchutech ra'u v'anecha ורחק ממנו. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael.
We turn to page 44 for V'shamru, sanctifying the day of Shabbat.
We continue with the tefillah on page 46, and if it's comfortable for you, invite you to rise. Adonai, sifatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Ha'gibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Hasteavot v'Imahot, u'mevi geula livnei v'nehem, leman shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei hakol, atah rav le'hoshia, morid hatal, mechakel hayim bechesed, mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim verofei holim, umatir asurim, umekayim emunato, lishenei afar, michamocha ba'agevurot,
Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata l'chayot hakol. Baruch ata Adonai, mehayeh hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukdoshim b'hoyom yehalelucha selah. Baruch ata Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Please have a seat. Our service continues on the bottom of page 57 in English. Please join me. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'orcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. And we turn to page 59, an interpretive prayer of collective gratitude. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. Page 60. Shalom Rav Yisrael tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael tasim le'olam. Ki ata hu melech gadol lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech gadol lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael tasim le'olam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam.
Holding on to gratitude, holding on to peace, gratitude for it, and prayers for its continuation, we take a moment now for silent prayer.
each come to Shabbat with so many different prayers in our hearts, prayers for peace, prayers for hope, prayers for healing. So we come now to the section of our service where we think of those who are in need of healing of mind, body, and spirit. I'll share our synagogue Mishaberach list and then invite you to add any names out loud or in your heart of those for whom you're thinking of healing. This evening we're thinking about Alon ben Barbara, Avraham ben Yitzchak ve'il Batya, Shmuel ben Esther Nechama ve'William, Fuma Hana bet Hinda Yenta ve'Israel Pavel, John Greenwood, Seth Lukash, Todd Rudo, David Selden, Norma Tucker, and Benjamin Warshowski. If you have any names to add. To those names, we also add all those who are victims of violence around the world, those in Israel, as well as those in service to our country who are in need of emotional, physical, and spiritual healing. Let's together sing and pray for their healing and their strength on page 253. Them all refuah shlema.
Shabbat Shalom. Every summer here at TRS, we choose a theme for our summer sermons. This summer, we're talking about the prophets, ancient people who, our tradition teaches, had the capacity to communicate with God and share God's messages with others. Every week this summer, we'll spotlight a different prophet and the relevance of their message to our lives today. To be honest, I struggled to pick a prophet to share with you tonight. Our world is so topsy-turvy right now. It can be hard to figure out how to navigate it or what words of strength might best be a source of support and comfort and energy in this time. And even though many of the biblical prophets speak very ardently of justice, which on one level might be perfect for this moment, when so many corners of our lives are touched by profound and troubling injustice, there's also something about the prophetic style that feels profoundly unhelpful in this moment. Many of the prophets were lone voices in the wilderness, speaking truth to power. Power didn't necessarily listen. I think we are all aware both that protest can be transformative in the lives of people protesting and sometimes in the lives of others who see them, and that at times protest is not everything. We also need time and space for speaking with each other and listening to each other. The prophets were not always great at that. They had truth with a capital T, and it was God's truth, and they were going to share it with the world. So for tonight, I wanted to find for us a prophet who could speak in particular to our world historical moment, which seems to be characterized by many things, but one of them is far too much political violence, and perhaps relatedly, far too many people speaking past one another and trying to dominate each other, with violence being the most extreme end of that form of attempt at domination. And with that in mind, I'd like to invite us to turn our attention to the prophet Micah. Micah lived in the time of the First Temple, sometime in the late 8th and early 7th centuries before the Common Era. His prophecy kicks off with some serious words of doom. He says that the northern and southern kingdoms, Israel and Judah, and their capitals, Samaria and Jerusalem, will both eventually be destroyed because of the injustice rife within them. But on a positive note, he also says that one day Jerusalem will again be a place from which Torah, teachings about truth and justice, are sent out into the world. He says they will beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not take up sword against nation, and they shall never again know war. So a big part of Micah's message is the worst is coming. It's coming because of the way everyone is treating each other. But one day, someday, there can be another brighter chapter. If I were to grade this section of Micah's message in its utility for our time, I might give it a C, or perhaps a B-. On the one hand, Jewish tradition does have a very deep well of thought dedicated to the importance of cultivating faith in being part of the kind of change that evolves over generations or even centuries. And Micah's words are an important contribution to that thought. We can't hang all of our hopes on what we will witness and participate in within our own lifetimes. It's far too short-sighted, whether we're living in a time where things seem to be going well or when things seem to be going poorly. We recite Micah's words of hope throughout our liturgy. For example, when we take the Torah out of the ark and we say, Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, Torah or teachings will go forth from Zion. And it's a way of proclaiming our faith that we and our actions are part of a long historical arc, bending, as Dr. King once said, towards justice. But on the other hand, Micah was pretty big on prophecies of doom too. And prophecies of doom can really only take you so far. Sometimes, maybe, fearing a bad outcome, like the total destruction of everything we value about our society, or in Micah's time, the total destruction of everything people in his time valued about their societies, sometimes that fear can mobilize necessary action. People can get together to avert doom. In some ways, that's one of the great gifts of the human capacity for imagination, that we can picture the worst and then also picture other possibilities and try to steer in the direction of a non-terrible future. But most catastrophes are not all or nothing. And when you wake up the morning after a previously unimaginable event, and the morning after that too, as we have had to do far too often, you have to figure out what to do next. Not in some future world where truth and justice flow out into the world and swords are beaten into plowshares, but in this world that we live in right now. Luckily, Micah did not limit himself to forecasting the lowest lows of future destruction and the highest highs of future redemption. He also spoke in the 6th chapter of his book of prophecy to the question of how we are supposed to live our lives in the here and now. His most famous teaching is this, from chapter 6, verse 8. You have been told, O human being, what is good, and what God is seeking from you, only to do justice and to love goodness, kindness, and mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Because this quote is so famous, even if it's also variably translated, the word I translated as goodness, kindness, and mercy is hesed, which can mean all three of those as well as more things. Because the quote is so famous, we can sometimes gloss over its complexity. Loving kindness and justice can often walk hand in hand easily, but justice and mercy can sometimes seem like opposites. And yet, Micah tells us we need to make room in our hearts and in our actions for both. I think part of what this might mean is that we need to make space, both in our hearts and in the conditions of our shared world, for other people to change or have the possibility or opportunity of change. And just as we need to balance justice and mercy, a concept that would also be important to the creators of Musar many centuries later, Micah 6:8 also encourages us to, for lack of a better word, balance chutzpah and humility. On the one hand, he says, we need to walk humbly with God. We need to remember that we are not God and not the center of the universe, and we're not always right. On the other hand, if we're really going to engage in acts of justice, loving kindness, and mercy, we need to believe in ourselves and believe in these principles, even when the going gets tough. My prayer for all of us tonight as we navigate our topsy-turvy world is that we can hold onto mishpat and chesed, his words for justice and loving kindness or mercy, and that we can also hold on to chutzpah and humility, and do our best to make space for all of them in our hearts and in the world, not just in the long term, but in the here and now, as we speak to each other, as we listen to each other, and as we go along our respective and shared ways. Shabbat Shalom. We continue now with a prayer of hope for a better future and for our ability to participate in the creation of that future, the Aleinu, which is on page 282. And to help us open the ark for the Aleinu, it is a pleasure to invite up the dads of our two B'nai Mitzvah students. So we would love to invite you to please join us on the bima, Kevin and Sai. And when the ark is open, we invite everyone in the community for whom it's comfortable to please rise.
Aleinu l'shapeach l'adon hakol, l'ateit gedula liotzer breshit, shekunot hashamayim v'yosed haaretz, u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim hima'al, u'shchinat uzo b'govhei merobim, hu Eloheinu enod, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamachim, hakadosh baruch hu. You may be seated.
We're on page 287.
May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair.
Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace.
As we move now towards the Mourner's Kaddish, I invite you to take a moment either with your own memories and reflections or with one of the reflective readings that begin on our prayer book on page 288 and continue for the next several pages. As I read the names of people being remembered by their loved ones in our community tonight, I'll invite you to rise if it's comfortable when you hear the name of someone you are remembering. After I share the names I have here, there will be time both to correct the pronunciation of any names that were mispronounced. We would love to hear your loved one's name in the way that they said it, and also for you to add any names of anyone else you are here saying Kaddish for tonight. This evening, our community is remembering the following individuals whose families and friends are in the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days following their funeral or their memorial. Edie Bernstein, mother of John Bernstein. Peter Alinsky, husband of Elaine Alinsky and father of Lauren Alinsky. Corinne Footlick, mother of Jay Footlick. Sandy Gehring, sister of Jim Kaplan and aunt of Julie Kaplan. Ray Nachbar, grandmother of Jordan Nachbar. Florence Richmond, mother of Neil Richmond and grandmother of Ariella Richmond. Minna Summer Novick, mother of Martha Kelly. Norman Stein, father of Rachel Burns. And Barry Strouch, husband of Evelyn Strouch and brother of Karen Payette. And to their names we add the names of these individuals whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of their death, falls near this time. William Barnett II, Naomi Beckenstein, Dina Benzion, Rose Blitz, Judy Bloom, Blanca Bonilla, Michael Brill, Robert Bromfman, Matilda Coriel, Laura Davidson, Martha Davidson, David Flores, Kenneth Gans, Judith Garland, Lenore Gershman, Adrian Gibson, Michelle Ginsburg, David Goodman, Paul Goodwin, Rochelle Gordon, Gail Hecht, Howard Hess, Diane Hilborn, Charlotte Joskow, Jules Joskow, and Margaret Joskow, Rose Katz, Jack Kellerman, Howard King, Irvine Kramer, Paul Crew, Deborah Leibowitz, William Lambert, Israel Lastic, Henry Leibowitz, Francis Leading, Celia Levin, Harvey Levin, Milton Levinson, Sylvia Liss, Grace Mendelson, Edith Messer, Elizabeth Nelson, James Nelson, Helen Pollock, Karen Pomeroy, Pearl Poritz, Yehuda Sandler, Florence Schlossberg, Norman Scholder, Edward Smith, Helen Sockett, Julian Stansky, Eleanor Stillman, Alfred Weiss, Evelyn Wendell, Linda Weiner, and Edward Zucker. If you have a name to add or a pronunciation to correct, please do so as my hand moves around the room. Zikronam livracha, may all of their memories be for a lasting blessing. We turn to the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. If it's comfortable for you, please rise. Yikadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach yirtei v'yamlich malhutei, b'chayei hon v'yomei hon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'gala v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mivarach Leolam Omei Amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmeir kudsha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru amen Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen Oseh shalom bin romav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. As together we say again, amen. Please have a seat. It is now a pleasure to invite forward our wonderful representative from the Leadership Council on the Bima to share some greetings and announcements with our community. Thank you so much for being here. We're so happy you're here.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm here on behalf of the TRS Executive Board and the Leadership Council, and I'm honored to welcome you to our worship service tonight. It's great to be together, whether you're in person or you're joining us via streaming out there. If you're new to Temple Rodef Shalom, it would be a joy to welcome you properly and tell you more about our wonderful community. Please feel free to approach one of our clergy or me to say hello during the Oneg Shabbat reception after the service. Please see the inside of your program for a selection of our upcoming programs. Details about our Kalat Hadarat, a celebration of 50 years of women in the Cantoret concert, the July 4th temple closure, and summer adult limud, current Jewish movements. Where do I fit in? Are there. There are explanations and more details about those programs. Our entire program calendar and details can be found in the latest edition of The Connection and on our website under the calendar. We hope to see you again soon. Shabbat Shalom.
I'd like to invite up our B'nai Mitzvah to join me for Kiddush, to join all of us for Kiddush. Kiddush is on page 5. I'll invite everyone to rise as they're comfortable as we bless the sweetness of Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu Zikaron lema'aseh bereshit Ki hu yom tefillah lemikra'e kodesh Zecher l'tziyad mitzrayim Ki vanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ava u'vratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Great job, guys. You can go back to your seats, okay?
Before we move to our closing song, we want to say thank you to everyone again for coming and helping make Shabbat with us. It was really meaningful to be together tonight. And also to ask you, if you are not taking your program home with you, to bring it to the back of the room so that it can be used by people tomorrow as well in the B'nai Mitzvah services. And I'll also take a point of privilege just to say, if you're in town next Wednesday night and don't have plans, this concert that Cantor Michaely co-chaired about 50 years of women in the cantorate is going to be a really cool concert. And it's not so often that there are hundreds of cantors all in one part of the world who are getting ready to sing. So
true.
you should consider signing up. It's going to be great.
Thank you.
And our closing song is inside of our programs, Olam Chesed.
Olam Chesed Yivane, Olam Chesed Yivane.
May we all support one another as we work to build a world of love. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.